Remember, Genisys is Skynet. When Genisys comes online, Judgment Day begins. Go to San Francisco 2017. You can kill Skynet before it's born.
John, you can do this. You just go and you don't look back. My whole life I prepared my son to lead humanity in the fight against the machines.
On this night, we take back our world!
But there was one thing I could never prepare him for.
The machines tried to rig the game. Sent a Terminator back to the time before the war to kill my mother.
I'll go back. Let me save her.
G'day, iRock from Down Under here. Today I'm bringing you the last 3 quarters of an epic 2v6 on Arena. So I'm playing as the Bulgarians. My ally is an extreme AI, playing as the Byzantines. And we are up against 6 extreme AI. They are the Ethiopians in red, and the Persians in green, Magyars in gold, and the Hindustanis in teal, and the Tatars in purple, and the Saracens in grey. As you can see, I've Krepos dropped all of our enemies, but unfortunately the Magyars and the Persians have built castles outside their base, and they are in Imperial, as are the Ethiopians, and also my ally, the Byzantines. So this means that the Persians and the Magyars are going to be making trips soon to take back their base. There's very little that I can do about that. I'm still in castle. But the good news is that I have severely harmed the Ethiopians down to 65 bills, and their base is firmly under my control. And I've even done more damage to the Saracens. Grey, they're down to 18 bills, and the Tatars are down to 32 bills. So things are looking pretty good. And I'm also in a fairly good position here against the Hindustanis. They're not as weak, they've got 69 bills, but I'm holding on to this position just. So the reason why I'm bringing you the last 3 quarters is because I had to reload my game to the last autosave when it crashed. And originally, when it crashed, I had already caused the resignation of 3 players. I believe that it was the Saracens, and the Tatars, and the Ethiopians, who I made resign. So it was a bit annoying having to reload, but it did make for a much more interesting final fight, with all the players still being in the match. My position is very strong in the Saracen base, and they're now down to 8 bills. They're almost dead. Over here, in the Tatar base, I have a very strong fortified position, and the Tatars are down to 17 bills. They're also almost dead. Now, I'm building a second crepost over here. I've only got one Vil. I'm trying to keep it alive. And I'm trying to keep this crepost alive as well as expand, because I know that if I don't expand and do more damage to the Hindustanis, then they will quickly become a threat and the enemy will be too much for us to handle. And looks like very soon I will be losing my position inside of the Magyar base and the Persian base. But the good news is that my ally has come over to finally start doing something, and he's going to raid the Ethiopians. And he's already wiped out about 2/3 of their villages. And hopefully we'll be able to get a kill here and wipe out one of the enemy AI.
Hey, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Your clothes. Give them to me. Now.
Hey, fuck you, asshole.
You won't be needing any clothes. I've been waiting for you.
Looks like we will. He's going after the last two town centres. And the Ethiopians are trying to build 2 castles, but that's pretty ambitious. They've only got 4 villas. And now 1 town centre and no villas. So they are dead. Although they do have a monastery. And are making a monk. But I would expect we'll be seeing trebs. Yes, trebs are now being produced by the Magyars, which will mean they can take back their base. Meanwhile, I have been able to get up a second crepost, and I still have my villager, so this is becoming a lot stronger. And I've also destroyed the Tatars and the Saracens, and I'm expanding my control inside of the Saracen base. Saracens are completely dead, and Tatars have only 1 bill left. The Ethiopians are now probably dead. They can't make another monk unless they get sent resources. But now my positions are falling inside of the Magyar base and the Persian base. The Persian base will take a little longer because I've got 2 creposts.
You gotta get him off me!
Managing to hold inside the Hindustani base. So the Persians are finally reclaiming their base, but I did severely weaken them before they did that. They're down to 31 bills, and the Hindustanis are stronger, even though I have a firm foothold inside their base. The real threat are the Magyars, who I did not really do too much damage to. And they already have their base back. So it's now a 2v3, 2v2 situation. It's a bit hard to say. Two players versus three, but two of those three enemies are quite weak, and I would say that the Ethiopians, yes, have been eliminated.
He's the machine. I'm Reese. Me, Sarah. All right, listen, the Terminator's not dead. It attacked
Sarah,
me.
you said they could mimic.
It's me, Sarah. He's mimicking. Shoot it. I'm Reese. Shoot him.
Nice try.
Run!
Inside the Hindustani base is extremely important, and becoming even more important because of its market. All the trade is flooding to this market. I was not really aware of how important this position was, the market, but I did know I needed to stop the Hindustanis from becoming a threat. So I am looking to expand. Also wanting to eventually take all of these valuable resources in these other bases that I've conquered. And there are also some resources left over inside of the Ethiopian base, which I'm already starting to take. And also taking the stone on the outside of the base. And it looks like my ally has taken down one of the Persian castles. But they have two more. Now only one more, and now the Persian base is pretty wide open on the southern side for invasion. Remember, the Magyars are beginning to push now. They've got their production up. They're up to 135 bells with an army of 50. And they have Magyar Hussars. And producing a steady stream from like two castles. And at the moment I'm content to just increase my strength, and I'm prepping some pal production. And I'm allowing my enemy to do the attacking. I'm allowing my ally to do the attacking of my enemies. My plan is to let my ally keep the enemy busy in this region, control this region for me, and to allow me to make a push. in this direction. Meanwhile, I'm also planning to expand my control inside of the Hindustani base. I just need to bring in some villagers. I have an army which I can use to defend my bases and also help me to attack. Well, the Persians have come in with some bombard cannons and weakened one of my crepos, but it's all under control. Also started mining resources in these conquered bases. Okay, so we have a very strong fortified position here with 2 Krepos, 2 bombard towers, 1 castle, another bombard tower, castle over here, and this is our base of operations, if you like. Meanwhile, I have succeeded in getting this Krepos up. And I have a small army which can help defend against the constant ram attacks. Let's get some traps out now to take out the buildings in this region between our bases, preparing for a push forward. Okay, the Hindustanis are almost dead. We still have 2 villages and some town centers. Their resources, though, are very small. So, looks like they will be dead unless they get slung some resources. I am now making push forward, building a Krepos to secure this position. We have a small army to help me do that. And my health production is fairly good. My resources are fairly strong, but I only have 3 barracks at the moment. And it looks like the Hindustanis have been slung resources and they're bouncing back. I have 4 bills. Magyars are beginning to make cavalry archers, as well as knights. And some capped rams. Persians are mostly making monks and helms and bombard cannons and cannoneers.
You say you wanna be a star, but the city is
Meanwhile, this trade is occasionally coming in range of this Krepos here.
just like it used to be. You say you had to take the chance, even though you got arrested and wasted. It's been so long since you've been calm, but you don't need any gestures or favors from anyone, baby. Why don't you
Yeah, this position right here is where basically all the action is happening. It's where our fortifications are and where my production is, and most of my allies' production is here as well. This is just outside his base. So the Magyars are sending their troops this way, those are the Persians. And it looks like I've lost my army of Trebs. And I'm beginning to get overwhelmed. So I've decided I need to build more barracks and up my health production.
just like it used to be? You say you wanna be a star, but the city is so dense and loaded.
So I'm looking to push outwards and get more control on the Hindustani base. I wasn't aware of how strong or weak they were. I thought it was an important position to push. I did not want them coming back into the game. Meanwhile, I have not yet built any of my extra barracks. Still nothing to do. And struggling to hold this position in this Krepos. to abandon building a new crevice over here, as the Magyars suddenly began flooding this area with troops to protect their trade. I wasn't aware of how crucial this was, but it seems the computer understood. And my ally is engaging the enemy in this region, which is helping me to secure our base and gradually push forwards in the south. And I've also built a castle over here, further cementing my stronghold in the south of the Hindustani base. And I can make some trebs now and just weaken their position in this area. And the Hindustanis are still struggling, down to 5 bills now. And gradually beginning to raid, remove these production buildings, and prepare the way for establishing foothold inside the Persian base again. But I still have to secure this position and keep it safe. The Magyars are very strong. Some Cav archers, light Cav, Cav trams, and Magyar Hussars. Both the Persians and the Magyars have over 130 vills. And this is pretty close. Managed to take down the Cav trams just in time. I'm going after the Persian TC. Also moved inside the Saracen base and I'm taking the golds. And also going after this Magyar TC. And the TCs go down. I'm feeling pretty confident at this stage. And Krepost is clinging on. And I'm going to make a push for this castle. Probably not enough trebs too, but I do not have any more trebs available in the area. I've got one more in my base. But all of a sudden, a fairly strong force of Magyars turns up, and this will be close. close, but not enough. Okay, and the Magyars just aren't quite able to push this position. Don't have enough rams. Don't have enough. Not able to overwhelm me with melee troops either. So still only producing from 3 barracks. It's enough to hold this position. Meanwhile, I'm starting to mass up stone as I'm taking this stone here. And there's more stones for me to take, so I will have a lot of stone floating soon to expand my control over here in the Instani base and to move in and build Krepos to help me make a push. And this might be very close here. And the Krepos still survives, down to 93. Looks like I'm finally expanding my hell production to 9 barracks. That should be sufficient. And I have some trebs ready to make a push. I have the stone for a few more Krepos. Just need to make sure I don't lose this one. And this bombard tower has certainly saved this Krepos. It would have fallen by now, for sure. And finally a repair bill comes in, and the Krepos is secure. And I'm also now starting to produce helms from 5 barracks, soon to be 6 and then 9. And the enemy numbers are too great. Looks like this bombard tower will fall, but the enemy has lost a lot of troops doing so. And for some reason chose not to finish off my Krepos. But no, again chose not to finish it off. So after I've survived that attack, I'm going to rebuild this Krepos and begin to push forwards. I've got my army of Helbs, got my Trebs, and my ally has some good numbers out on the field. Meanwhile, I've taken a lot of stone in this region, so I now have over 2,000 stone, and I'm using it to build another Krepos here at our base. We're going to lose a lot of these villages. As soon as I began building this, the enemy suddenly swarmed to try to stop this from going up. And the enemy is moving into this death trap here. 3 bombard towers, 3 Krepos, another 2 bombard towers in the castle. Soon to be an extra Krepos. And looks like I have control of this region again, so my sole surviving villager jumps out and completes the Krepos, and that really cements our control over this region and really enables me to start pushing now. We'll need more villagers to build Krepos quickly. And there's a lot of idols here. Okay, and after the replay crashing, I'm back after a few days to finish this cast. Do my best. Okay, it looks like I want to take out these Persian buildings in front of the Persian base. destroyed the Persian production building so many times, but I can always do it again. And I'm still holding this line, this important line. Occasionally this Krepost is doing damage to the market trade, which I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware of how important this market was. Nor was I aware of how important the market here was when I took it out with my conics. Alright, I'm going up to this monastery. It looks to be a poor decision. The enemy has a lot coming my way. I lost everything and the monastery still stands. It's been a long battle, but we are gradually taking ground away from the Persians. And we definitely have the score lead. Magyars have gone heavy into cav archers and handguns now as well. And that's the Persians actually. Both of those very dangerous against my helps, but not very good against my Krepost. My Krepost is down to 51 health because of this Persian bombard. But thankfully, he was distracted by my approaching troops, and Krepost still stands. And finally the bombard cannon goes down and the Krepost is still not destroyed. Okay, this could have been a much better push had these rams actually done damage, but they're going for the castle it looks like. They're just going to get killed on the way, I think. And what's happening over here? There's a large force of Magyars. And while the Magyars are taking this gold, and we got pushed back. The rams didn't do any damage. I'm repairing this Krepost though, so that's good. And my score continues to skyrocket because of all these deaths. All these kills from these Kreposts. Me kills 65 from this Krepost alone, 262 from this Krepost, 176 from this Krepost in reserve, and 54 and 97 from these rear fortifications. Whereas my ally, he killed 6 and 1 with his castles, so this is where the action is, and I'm holding the line. Although this bombard cannon has been a little helpful, as have these. Done nowhere near as much damage as my Krepost have done against my score lead. Now the Byzantines are going Pike's siege ram. I'm just going Helbs and Trebs and Krepost and some conics. another push from these rams. Look like they're going again for the castle. We might actually take it down this time. Especially if I can support. A quick look over here. There's a lot happening. And the ram has made it. Looks like this castle will fall now. So I was unlucky. Must have taken a lot of damage on the way. Could not get those last couple hits in. But that doesn't matter. That was a very good distraction. And now I have moved our front line forwards with a good concentration of defenses and bringing up helps to secure the position, trapping down burning houses, but just clearing the way for further assault. And Helms and Krepos doing a ton of damage against the mounted troops from the Magyars. About the most helpful the siege rams from my ally have been in the last few minutes, taking out big capped rams from the Magyars. Persians have now Cavalier and hand cannoneer. And some pikes as well. This Krepos is closing in on 300 kills. This Krepos already has 40. Okay, looks like we've held the position, fended off that wave. And my resources, like I'm still floating a good amount of stone, so I'm going to push forwards with more Krepos and strengthen the defenses at the same time. Helps in providing a good screen for my villagers as they push forwards. These Persian hand cannoneers are very annoying. Krepos did go up, but I lost a handful of villages. Now I'm taking out some valuable production buildings, and they're all Persian buildings, and a lot of the Persian defences have come from those buildings, especially this one. The hand cannoneer is being produced like that. And every time I try to push forwards, it seems a wave of troops comes against me. But I'm still making progress. And taking ground off the Persian player quite steadily now. And fortunately my Krepos fell to the ram. So I'll just build another one in its place. Another Krepos falls. But I'm still moving forwards. And this time I have the troops in position ready to defend. And this Persian castle is still standing, still on 400 HP. Meanwhile, this line is holding very nicely. Just sniping Hindustani vills and occasionally taking out trade carts when they deviate from the path. And the line moves forward yet again. And I've brought forward a lot of villagers, 26 vills, so that these Krepos will go up quickly and I can repair them and just finish this off. My health numbers are decent. And from this new front line I can tread down most of the Persian buildings. Now some Persian buildings at the front of the Persian base, however. Taking out this market will be a big blow to the enemy. We'll reduce their trade once more. I'm not sure when this happened, but the Persian castle has fallen. Let's rewind to see when it happened. It did that long ago. Looks like it just fell around this point. Okay, as I was moving forward, Krepos is beginning to take damage, just a little bit, but Perhaps it was these Byzantine rams. Would be surprising. No, it looks like it was this Trev. And had my ally done that a long time ago on his front, this game might have been a lot shorter. So let's get back to the position that we were in. Okay. And Persian TC in his position will fall. You take out a Persian TC in that position a while ago. Meanwhile, as my stone gets low, I'll be wanting to take these stones. So I'll need to pay some attention to this front when that happens. I think I have taken all the stone and gold in this base, and this base as well. Almost all the gold. And I've taken the large amount of stone that was here. Some gold over here which has been forgotten. And there. Okay, looks like I'm moving to take out this entire back half of the Persian base. And from this position I'll be able to take down this market, so this is reaching a critical point. I'm expecting a flood, another wave from the enemy with troops to try to stop this, but got a good number of health again. Meanwhile, trying to move forward to take these stones, and the enemy's decided instead to try to stop this, so the wave of troops has not gone to the west, it's gone to the east. But this is a very strong position, never seriously been challenged. So I think I've bought some stone. Got a lot of gold. Just needed to secure this position so I can mine some more stone. And these 5 trebs have no kills, but they have destroyed the Persian base. Well, I'm still pushing forwards and destroying the Persians. It won't be long now. Hindustanis aren't a real threat.
I don't volunteer for this shit.
So there's still a barracks back there, but I'm not worried about it. Looks like the Byzantines will take out the rest of these Persian buildings with their troops. Whereas I'm going to try to take out the Persian buildings out the front of their base. the old front line, the old stronghold, has not really been challenged at all for a few minutes, I think. And I have extended the line over here to provide further protection. And now taking out some trade carts as we come around this wall. So trade carts gradually being sniped by the Krepos. And moving forward once more, quite rapidly now. 2 more Krepos in the west. And the Persian base is completely taken over. And there's only barracks and an archery range for the Persians inside. And 1 more Krepos. I think I've just decided to buy a lot of stone if I need to, just advance very rapidly. And finally a challenge against the Magyar castles, and this should go down very well.
I look at each of you, and I see the marks of this long and terrible war. If we die tonight, mankind dies with us.
And now the Persians are as weak as the Hindustanis, not really posing a threat at all. It's now simply the Magyars that are providing the resistance. They do have good defenses, good production buildings, but my net is closing in on them. And it looks like my ally has gone into arms, which will be helpful. And we're now inside the enemy base. So, looks like we have reached the end. Okay, so that's 2 of the Magyar castles taken out. I'm just going to secure this position. Point taking setbacks at this stage. Magyar economy is still strong. The Persians are nearly dead. Hindustanis are taking losses as well. But I'm steadily moving forwards, wiping out all enemy production buildings in this area. And the Byzantines raiding with siege rams. And it looks like the Hindustanis and Persians are both nearly dead. And Magyars, down to 16 military, don't even seem to be able to stop these siege rams. And I'm just making a line of Krepos along the front of the base while I go to attack this castle with my trebs. Okay, Persians look dead, Hindustanis look dead. Not sure why, they kept trying to build TC out here and they've lost all their villages. Decided, well, I have so much stone, not build a castle. Meanwhile, half the Magyar base is gone. And the base is full of my trebs, Byzantine pikes, and siege ram. Finally, looks like the last of the trade is going down. There's really nowhere for them to trade. Tatars and Persians have resigned, and the Hindustanis have resigned. Just the Magyars now. Going after the final Magyar castle.
This is pointless. I am inevitable. My existence is inevitable. Why can't you just accept it?
Because we're human.
And the Magyar base is pretty much dead. There's a pocket back here which is untouched, but the rest is basically empty. They're down to 50 villas. They don't have any military to speak of. And this is the Hindustani TC, not that it matters.
You were never strong enough to defeat me.
Not alone.
John, stop now.
When will you ever learn?
Now, Sarah!
And I'm making a ring of Krepos around the Magyar base, which, well, it's sensible because I'm moving into one of the areas which is the last stronghold for the Magyars, and that's at the front of their base. They also have a pocket at the back of their base, which, as we can see, was just beginning to be attacked by me, by my forces, and they were down to, it doesn't say now they've resigned. But nothing was untouched, and that was an epic fight. My most creative unit was the Helbs, 836 of them, and my ally made 1070 pikes. And my res floating was huge, but mostly food and wood. I bought a lot of stone towards the end. And my worker efficiency was quite poor. A lot of my builds were building, and a lot of my builds were standing around idle after they stripped this area of all of its resources. So look at the stats. Military, I absolutely dominated, 71,000. Magyars came second, not surprising, and the Byzantines third, not surprising as well. Persians didn't contribute as much as I would have thought. Economy, my ally and I both had about 8,500. And I didn't win society. My ally won society, but I had, it was 2 castles. But I had a lot of crepos with the military scores. So this is the KD. I think this is just from the last autosave because the game had crashed about 30 minutes ago. But that's still quite impressive. I was the only one with above 1 KD, and building KD was huge. I lost a couple crepos and that's about it, maybe about 6 of them. And eco, mined 12,000 stone. My ally mined 62,000 gold. Although a large part of that gold was trade. I did not use trade. Magyars had 133,000 food. It's very strong. Technology, so after that crash I was the only one to go up in age and I arrived in Imperial at 4215. Society. I actually ended up with the most villages, which does make sense because a lot of villages were building for me. I made my last push with over 20 villages building crepos. Let's have a look at the score. So, Byzantine, my ally, orange, blue, and you can see it was fairly even for most of the match. A lot of my forces were busy just holding the line on the 2 front lines that I had to hold. And the Byzantines were mostly going in through the center, pushing against the Magyars and the Persians. And then towards the end, I really started to get my held numbers up as well as my number of crepos and began to push forwards, push against the Persians. And they collapsed. Magyars actually got stronger while we pushed against the Persians. Towards the end there. And even at the moment of victory, right up till the end, Magyars were almost matching us, but they were not quite strong enough to stop our push. So look at the stats. I think this is for the whole map. So yes, it is for the whole map. And you can see I was quite weak up until Imperial. I was focused on taking down 3 of the enemy bases. These 3 are actually 4. I helped my ally to take down Red. And I took down Purple. And also Grey. And didn't finish off Teal, but I did restrict them from growing. And eventually in the Imperial Age I was able to push forwards into Teal's base a little bit and almost finish them off. So they were very ineffective for the rest of the match, the rest of the Imperial Age. Meanwhile, in early Imp, my ally was pushing mostly against the Persians, and I also made incursions as well. So the Persians got a little bit beat up. We did bounce back, and for a while they were quite strong, but then once we steadied against this push, and I gradually pushed back and pushed forwards, then the Persians gave way and they collapsed, and we took the Persian base, and that was the deciding factor, and just snowballed from there once we could take out the Persians. The fight was really always between the Persians and my front line. That was where most of the fighting was taking place, and that was the critical area of the map. And so when I was able to push inside the Persian base, that means that we had really started to win that fight, and then it was just a matter of time. It did not take long after that. Okay, I won the score. I think this will be the score for the whole game. 2.5 hours. Over 70,000 military score for me. And my KD was over 4. No, not quite at 4. Close to 4. 305 to 6. I think that these stats are the same stats as before. So the other map just didn't show the whole timeline. But these times weren't shown either. Feudal Age 1041, that was quite a good Feudal Age time. A bit faster than the enemy. That enabled me to get out early and to stonewall the enemy's bases, which really prevented them from booming too fast and just swamping us. Castle Age was also quite fast, so I could quickly start to Krepos drop the enemy bases, and I was able to basically take out 4 of the enemy with my efforts in Castle Age. And by that time, we'd reduced it down to, it was effectively a 2v2. So we were able to steady and hold. I was able to get up to Imperial. And once I was in Imperial and had boomed, then I could start to push with my ally. Doesn't list how many Krepos I had, but I had a lot. Probably about 30 or something, looking at the amount of stone. And I had to build high after the last autosave, but the Byzantines had 167 villages at one point. So that's interesting. And we've seen this timeline. a lot of big battles after I reached Imperial. And it looks like this big battle here was when we were starting to make incursions inside the Persian base. Yeah, the time is right. Alright, that was my 2v6. It's another world record for iRock. And thanks for watching. Please smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps me when you do that. Helps our game as well. And I will see you in the next video.
What you're doing right now, this is the end of the war.
It was over. Skynet was gone. Now one road has become many. Though questions remain, we'll search for the answers together. But one thing we know for sure: the future is not set.